Okay, so we're first going to teach you how to assemble your flute. One of the most important things is first opening your case. So a lot of flutes have these little flaps here, so you know it's open because the top part will not have the little latch here. But a good way to remember which way is the top of the flute so the flute doesn't fall out and break is just put like a sticker or something on it. Mine has a cute little Yamaha sign on it, so I know which way is the top so my flute doesn't fall out when I'm opening the case. To assemble your flute, first you're going to take out your head joint. A very important part of holding your flute at all points in time is to make sure you grasp it by places where there are not keys. So the head joint, which has the lip plate on it, obviously doesn't have any keys, so there's lots of areas to hold it. Then you take out the body. You can see it has lots of keys on it, so you want to hold it on areas where there is not keys so you don't crush those. And a lot of flutes have little brand signs right here, which is in line with the top of these keys. And your head joint also has a little brand sign. So when you're assembling your flute, you want to line those two up, once again making sure you're not grabbing the keys, and gently push and twist your flute together, lining up those two. Okay, so once those are aligned, then you're going to take out your foot joint, once again holding it where there are not keys. And where the line here is that's holding the keys onto the instrument, you're going to line this up with the keys. So that line should hit about the middle of the keys when you have it on. Just like that. That hits the middle of that key, and this one's going to hit about the middle of these keys. So that is how you assemble your flute. And when you're putting on your head joint, to make sure your flute's in tune, you want to make sure it's pulled out just a little bit, and then when you tune your flute, you'll push in and pull out however far you need to. But usually you won't have it pushed all the way in. So that's how you assemble your flute. To deassemble your flute, you do the same thing. Once again, making sure you do not grasp any parts of your flute that have keys on it, and just gently twist when you're pulling off. Make sure when you're putting your flute on or off, you're not putting it on like this and then sliding it on, because your metal will warp over time and then it'll be harder to get your flute on and you could actually hurt the tone production. So when you're putting everything on or off, make sure you go straight on and you use a twisting motion to get it on there. If you have problems getting on your pieces, it's probably just due to a buildup of grime. And so what you want to do is just take your cleaning cloth, not a polishing cloth, but just a plain cleaning cloth, and wipe the insides and the outsides of your joints just to get those clean if they're sticky. And then you put them back in your case. But after playing, I obviously didn't play, but every time you play your flute, you want to make sure you clean out all of the moisture. And your flute is always going to get moisture because you're putting warm air into a cold instrument, which is going to create condensation. So you need one of these little cleaning sticks that has a little hole in here, and a cleaning cloth, once again, not a polishing cloth. You take one of the little corners and you stick it through. Just pull a little tail through, and then you take the rest of the cloth and you flip it over. That way it's all covered. My cleaning cloth is a metal cleaning cloth, but if you can find a wood one, that's preferable because it's softer than your flute, so it won't damage your flute when you're trying to clean it. So I took off my foot joint first. So you're just going to stick your cleaning cloth with your rod all the way through. Nice and clean. And then it goes back in your case the way you found it. If you find that you're having problems remembering how your flute was in your case, before you take it out, just take a picture of you can take it with your iPhone or camera or whatever, and then you can just look at that picture again. So remember not to grab the keys and twist while you're pulling it off. Then I'm going to do the same thing by cleaning out this end. Stick my cleaning cloth all the way through and pull it out. Then I'll put it back in the case. If it's really wet, you might need to do it more than once, but I didn't play mine. Now for the head joint, you have the crown on the top and the cork underneath that, so obviously you can't stick it all the way through. And you don't want to shove it in there too hard or you're going to damage that cork, and the cork helps keep your flute in tune. So you just stick it in there really gently, up until you can see it, and then you pull it back out so you don't damage your cork but you still get your head joint nice and clean. And that goes back in the case as well. And then you shut it and latch it. And that's how you assemble, disassemble, and care for your flute.